Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'll go over what mistakes might be causing your slow bicep progress. I'm first going to go over a quick anatomy rundown on what movements and muscles are being worked in bicep isolated exercises. So the main movement of any curl is elbow flexion. Elbow flexion is powered mostly by the brachialis that actually sits underneath the biceps that provides strictly elbow flexion. The biceps brachii has two heads, the long and the short head. Different exercises will target each muscle differently, as I'll explain later in the video. The brachioradialis located on the back of the forearm will also help in elbow flexion. Shoulder flexion is also involved in the movement. This is the action of lifting your shoulders up from your body powered by your anterior deltoid. So then we have wrist supination playing a part in the curl. So you can think of this as opening your hand for a bowl of soup as supination and closing it as pronation. Supination being powered by the supinator located on the posterior side of the forearm with the biceps brachii muscles helping out as well. Starting out with the execution of the barbell curl, as it is a staple in most people's exercise routines. With your feet about shoulder width apart, elbows tucked into your sides, shoulder blades retracted together, with your hands just outside your hips, you will begin the curl with a slight shoulder flexion about 10 to 15 degrees. Make sure not to go past this range, as all the tension will be put into your front deltoids. Then try lifting the barbell out in an arc, putting more tension on the biceps. When lowering the barbell, try to arc it out and away from your body as well. Here is a side-by-side comparison of elbows tucked in with no shoulder flexion and then trying to arc the barbell on the left with a 10 to 15 degree of shoulder flexion. You will be able to tell the amount of bicep activation compared to forearm activation between the two. You'll want to keep your wrists in an extended position, as flexing the wrists too much will cause the tension to transfer to the forearms. Just be careful when trying this to make sure you're not feeling any pain in your wrist while doing this. Now you're going to think about actively supinating, so pushing through your pinky and ring finger, taking the load off the forearms, and forcing the tension into your biceps. Try lowering the bar on the eccentric phase for at least 1 to 2 seconds, actively resisting the bar on the way down, making sure to create that arc that we previously did on the concentric. Try using the full range of motion here, as it'll be easier to track progressive overload to make sure you're getting stronger week by week. The same rules apply here with dumbbells, except dumbbells allow for more supination, as you can start in a neutral position then supinate a lot harder as you curl the weight up, allowing for more bicep activation. Now, making sure you're getting the most out of your bicep training, you want to focus on the long head and the short head. Different exercises target the long head more, and some target the short head. The long head is the head on the outside of the arm that gives you that much desired outer bicep peak. The short head is located more on the inside of the arm that gives you that fuller and more wider looking bicep. To optimally train the biceps, we must target both heads with different angles and different shoulder positions. To target the peak of the bicep or the long head, you'll want to try an incline dumbbell curl, as the long head is most effectively targeted with your arms placed behind your body. So with your arms behind your body, make sure you're keeping your shoulders still and not allowing swinging as you curl the dumbbells up, making sure your biceps are taking the tension, not the front delts. The short head has been found to be targeted more effectively with a more supination, an exercise like a concentration curl, for example. Placing your elbow against your leg, think about bringing your pinky towards the ceiling as you curl the dumbbell up. This exercise takes all the movement out of the anterior shoulder and leaves almost no room for cheating. A study done by the American Council of Exercise Studies showed that the muscle activation of the biceps was greater than all other bicep isolation exercises in the study. Then we have the brachialis, with the main job of contributing to elbow flexion. This muscle actually pushes out the biceps, creating a wider, thicker looking arm. To target the brachialis that sits underneath the bicep, we need a more pronated grip, as it is more effective to shift the tension from the biceps to the brachialis. One of the best exercises to do that is a slow eccentric hammer curl. With the hands in a more pronated or thumbs up position, slowly lower the weight with a 3-second count on the eccentric phase to further decrease the involvement of the biceps and target the brachialis. Another great exercise for the biceps that is more considered as a compound lift is the chin-up. The chin-up works great as it is unique. It is the only bicep exercise that you can have your elbows actually in the air in an overhead position. To target the biceps more than our lats, we are actually not going to retract the shoulder blades. We are going to be in a more protracted position, thus putting the tension in the biceps when you pull yourself up. So let's go over some common mistakes and programming errors when training biceps. First mistake, Ego lifting, using your hips to swing the weight up. No one cares about how much weight you're lifting when you're isolating your biceps. Put the ego away. This is not a compound lift where we are trying to lift as much weight as possible. A study done by Brad Schoenfeld and colleagues in 2018 showed the importance of mind-muscle connection. They took 30 untrained college-aged men and assigned them randomly to an internal focus group that focused on contracting the target muscle during training and exercise, aka squeezing a bicep curl, and an external group that focused on the outcome of the lift, in other words, just getting the weight up. In regards to muscle thickness, the internal group gained 12.4% versus 6.9% to the external group. The findings led support of how important the use of the mind-muscle connection was to enhance muscle hypertrophy. A programming issue that I see a lot is people switching exercises in and out every single week. Changing the muscle stimuli too often and not focusing on progressive overload with the same exercise week by week is a great way to fall into a plateau and bicep growth stubbornness. Stick with the same exercises for a minimum of 4 weeks before moving on to a different variation. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you took any value at all from this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. But that's all for now, guys. We'll catch you guys later.